Hey, hello there, and welcome to Talking with Tony. I'm your host, Tony Jones. And you know, there are times where I have NFL football players on the show. I have Major League Baseball players on the show. I have people that played college football, college basketball, and I'm not starstruck. But there is this one person that comes in and kind of gets me nervous when I'm on the show, and I think you'll understand why after we come back from break. Today, I welcome back to my show the 2013 Miss America, Mallory Hagan. And the strange thing is, folks, I get nervous, and she's a friend of mine. But I think that you're going to enjoy today's show. And she's more than just beauty and brains. She also understands sports. And since Talking with Tony is a sports show, I'm going to ask her who she thinks is going to win the college football national championship. But we'll talk about her reign as Miss America, and we'll get an update on what Mallory's up to today. So don't go anywhere. When we come back, Talking with Tony with Mallory Hagan begins right here.
Want to know just how important breakfast is for kids? Well, kids who eat school breakfast are absent less, do better on standardized math tests, and are more likely to graduate. Only half of the kids who qualify for free school breakfast receive one. So here at Food Network, we've teamed up with No Kid Hungry to make sure that every child has the fuel they need to succeed. Let's make sure every child starts the day with a healthy breakfast. Visit foodnetwork.com/hungry to find out how.
Welcome back to Talking with Tony. As I mentioned in my opening, it is a pleasure to welcome back Miss America 2013, Mallory Hagan, here to Talking with Tony.
Hi.
I'm blowing it up for you right here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. You've just got into town. It means a lot to me that you go out of your way and come. You'll be spending Christmas and New Year's over in Opelika, Alabama. So
I will.
I got a few things I have to tell you. I have to tell you happy birthday.
Thank you.
Because we're right here at it. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much. You too.
Thank you. And Happy New Year as well.
Thank you. Cheers to 2016.
You partied in New York and celebrated your birthday a little bit early with your friends. Tell us about that fun night.
You know, it's funny. I've never really had a surprise party put on by my friends, and my best friend and my business partner and my roommate Claire tried to throw me a surprise party on Friday night, and I ruined it. They were being very nonchalant, so I started inviting friends out for my birthday, and all that to say, we had a really great time. Had some cupcakes, and we danced, and we laughed, and had a lot of friends visit from the city, and a lot of my Miss America sisters were there, and some other girls that I've met from the Miss America organization. So it was just a really great time, and I'm very grateful for my friends for that.
Can we say hello to my favorite other Miss America right now?
Kirsten. We can say hello to Kirsten. Hi, Kirsten.
Absolutely.
I texted her to see if she might send you a little video, so we'll see if she pulls through. I
would like that. Certainly, you are my favorite, though.
Thank you.
I think me and Kirsten would get along very well, though. I think we would
you
be.
Would.
She's
wonderful.
Yeah, I think we would be fast friends. Time flies. Last time we were together was 2 years ago for the national championship game, the Auburn-Florida State game. You were living out in L.A. You were not the good luck charm that I needed. Sat beside my wife and I, and my uncle, and heartbreak. Florida State scores right in front of us.
Yeah,
to win the game.
It wasn't the best game to witness, but. Doesn't seem like it was that long ago either.
Lots happened to you in that period of time. You, like we said, you were living in L.A. then, but you're in New York now.
I am, yeah. I lasted in L.A. about, I'd say 10 months. I moved out there, and L.A. is a great place. After living in New York for as long as I did before winning Miss America and traveling, I needed to go back to where my network of people is, and also back to school. I got a $50,000 scholarship for winning Miss America, and I was only a couple of semesters into my education when I won. So took that time off after being Miss America and really just needed to get back to the grind. So back in New York now, I'm in school full time studying cosmetic and fragrance marketing, which is what I had intended to do in the first place. And it's really nice to be back there. Although it doesn't feel like New York right now because we're having some crazy weather.
Well, we're not doing much better here for you. Christmas is looking like 78, 80 degrees, which I'm not really excited about. You mentioned your education. You went to Auburn University. You're wearing, underneath your beautiful hair there, you're wearing the Auburn pin. I'm certainly wearing an Auburn pin. You had, I thought, an opportunity to give the Auburn football team a pep talk before the Alabama football team.
Come on, Cam.
Yeah, you tweeted Cam. You've met Cam before and stuff. Maybe now he regrets it. He should have reached out to you.
Yeah, I saw that they were bringing him on as an honorary coach, and we had met before, and I knew that they were announcing Meg McGuffin, who's the current Miss Alabama, on the stadium, and I was like, you know what? I want to be on the field. Yeah, it didn't work out in my favor. Thanks a lot, Gus. Appreciate it, Cam.
But well, look, we lost in the end.
It's you know what? I could have brought the good luck.
Maybe, although you weren't the luck I needed for or we all needed for the Florida State. It looked good for the longest time. It really did.
It did.
Now, you come from a split family. When I say that, I mean like some are Auburn fans, and then your dad.
There's more Alabama fans, unfortunately, at this point, I think.
Including your father.
Including my father, who, by the way, is a graduate of Auburn University.
But he's one of those who grew up Alabama and it never changed for him.
You know what I think it was? Is his parents both went to Auburn. His sister went to Auburn. They all graduated from Auburn. And I think that he just likes getting a rise out of people on occasion. So I think when he was younger, he started being an Alabama fan for that reason. And now it has turned into full-blown, on my mom's side of the family, my aunt, and my uncle, and my grandma, everybody roots for Alabama. So we are a very divided household, but I stay true to the orange and blue.
No matter nice barometer.
You're welcome.
No matter how bad things are, 3-9 a few years ago, but then followed by that national championship appearance. So 6-6 this past season. We do hope that next year they can somehow turn things around. I don't know if I'm got that feeling right now, but hopefully we'll. Look, before the season started, I did something on the show. I picked Clemson to win the national championship before the season started. And I can't really change that because they're in it, they're in the Final Four, and I'm not feeling it. The so-called eye test to me, Alabama is the best team. If you're going to pick one of the four playing in the college football playoff, who are you going to take?
I would have to go with Alabama. I think that, why wouldn't you root for the SEC, but also why wouldn't you root for your home state team? I mean, a win for Alabama is a win for the state of Alabama, and if we can continue to dominate, then why not?
Some people are saying that. Other people, some that were raised during a different time when Alabama dominated Auburn are finding it a little more difficult to root for Alabama. You can probably grasp that.
They probably care a little bit more about football than I do.
You've had a couple other things on your plate through the years. I will say this: I would like to see the team that I picked win it all in Clemson, but I believe they'll lose in the semifinal themselves, and I think it'll be Oklahoma and Alabama, and that's a whole lot of red facing off against each other.
Well, I think that we'll have to wait and see. It's not that far away.
Yeah, you're right. It's not that far away. In New York now, like you said, going further in your education and all, but you've got this website that I have discovered and I'm just fascinated with, and it's defined with a little hyphen.
Define. Yeah.
MMM.com.
Yeah.
And these M's.
Yes, they are.
3 words for you.
Mind, mission, and marketing. So Define is actually, so my best friend, my roommate, she's also a former Miss New York, has a master's in corporate communications from Georgetown in Washington, D.C. So she actually got that master's through her scholarship money through the Miss America organization. And I'm studying advertising and marketing, cosmetic and fragrance marketing. And so we decided we were getting a lot of inquiries after Kira Kazantsev, 2015 Miss America, when she won. Claire was sort of a part of her process to compete, and she was also a part of Miss America 2014, Nina Davalore's process to compete. So we were getting a lot of inquiries as what did you guys do in the state of New York? We had 3 in a row. Claire did very well at the Miss America pageant. She was top 12 and she was America's Choice. And then the following Miss New York was second runner-up, and then I won, and then the next one won, and then the next one won. So we started getting a lot of inquiries and girls wanting to know what they could do to be better, and we were getting them individually, but we had just moved in together in the same apartment in New York. So we sort of sat each other down and we were like, hey, let's do this. So Define is a personal branding company. We truly believe that when you participate in the Miss America organization or Miss USA or Miss Universe, that you're bringing a brand to the table. And we wanted to approach it more from that standpoint as opposed to coaching. We think that the things that you do on stage are very important. They are a part of your brand, but what we help girls discover and define is who they are and what they believe in and why they believe in those things. And we've obviously been through the process, and we have some very interesting insight, whereas a lot of people who are coaching girls to participate may not.
It looks like to me that you are able to, through this process, determine, and they can determine their strengths, and that's what you really go after.
It's a very, very strengths-based process. There is no formula. There's no right or wrong way to do things. It's very much about figuring out who you are and what makes that version of you the best person for the job, whether that job is a state title holder or if it's Miss America. And like I said, with Claire having been a Miss New York and me going through the process, both in Alabama and in New York, competing in 2 separate states, 8 state pageants overall, and then of course Miss America. So we just bring a unique insight, and together we have pulled some of the most helpful things that we learned through our process, and it's really about the girl that we're working with and helping her figure out what makes her the best person for the job. It's been really rewarding so far.
They can, everybody can learn information by visiting the website, but people from all different stages can really reach out to you, whether they're beginners or whether they're deep into it and they're looking for a specific target area. Like interviews is something that people like. Yeah,
and that's really what we focus on is the interview portion of the competition. And a lot of people don't realize that that's really what wins Miss America for the girl who wins. It's a 10-minute long interview that's a press conference style where the judges can ask you literally anything that they want. And much of it's based on a set of paperwork that they are provided, but a lot of people just don't realize that that's what's most important, and that when you win, the entirety of your year is spent speaking, doing interviews, interacting with people at corporate events, at charity functions, and you're the keynote speaker everywhere you go, basically. And so to be able to have that skill set is really important. And so we truly believe that the girls are investing in themselves and they're investing in their future. Being able to sit down and control an interview, no matter what setting you're in, is very important and becomes a huge asset in the workplace after competing in pageants.
You'll meet with them in New York, of course, personally, but also they reach out to you via Skype.
Yeah, so we do a lot of our work via Skype, actually. That's the easiest way for people to be in contact with us, and I'm really excited to announce that we are about to launch our newsletter aspect of Define. So it's a bi-monthly newsletter that we're launching, and basically it's a summary of the things that have happened over those 2 weeks, and it provides interview questions and thought topics so that people can begin to think about those things differently. And then we'll have things like fitness tips, and we'll be highlighting other charitable organizations that girls may not have had access to. And so we're thinking that it will be a really great thing for family members to gift girls who are competing, or it'd be great things for local directors and state directors to have on their side. So we're looking forward to that. We're launching it February 1st, but we're starting to announce it this coming week so that we can hopefully have some Christmas purchases, which would be nice.
Sounds good. Let me ask you this. The interview is not a problem for you. Your
No.
question was on gun control. Like I try to tell people is you found a way to make Republicans and Democrats, you slammed it out. You just hit it out of the park. You made Republicans and Democrats pleased with your answer. Is now looking back and seeing some of the other contestants really struggled on stage, the final interview and all. And I know that you're in that Miss America family, so I can critique, but you necessarily can't critique. Some Miss Americas don't have that speaking ability, that talent that you have.
Well, I think each one of us definitely has our innate strengths. Every Miss America has something that has sort of set her apart or has been, the selling point for her, I guess you would say. I look back on my answer and I'm not pleased with it, which is really funny. Yeah, it's a really nerve-wracking position to be in. It's one thing to sit across from the table and answer questions, or it's another thing to stand in a room with 5 to 7 people and answer their questions. It's another thing to know that 13, 14 million people are watching you on national television and you're staring out into a black hole of an audience.
Right.
And this is like the moment. So I have a lot of sympathy for the young women who are in that position, the top 5 question, no matter what pageant it is, whether it's Miss USA or Miss America. I know we've seen some hilarious blunders happen, and they've made for great television moments, but the reality is it's a really tough position to be in, and it's hard to wrap your brain around everything that's happening, especially as fast as it's happening. I mean, you have 20 seconds to understand that, holy moly, I just made it into the top 5 at, insert pageant, and now I have to answer a question, and everyone's going to watch me, and this could potentially end up on YouTube. It's a lot of pressure. So I do give everyone that benefit of the doubt, and I think that, especially with Miss America, it's what they do throughout their year that proves sort of what their strengths truly are. I think this year, Betty Cantrell, who's right here from Georgia,
Yep.
she is a phenomenal vocalist, like amazing talent. She's stunning, and she's done a wonderful job so far. So I look forward to seeing what the rest of her year brings
You want to
her
see
way.
what she does, like in all other winners that follow you, what they do.
Of course, yeah. I mean, people don't understand that being Miss America is not just the one-year thing. It's for the rest of our lives. And it's a joke that we all have, but it could be like, I could cure cancer, and it would say MalloryHagan, comma, former Miss America, comma, cures cancer.
That's with
like, it will be with us forever. And so
It's a good problem to have, Mallory.
it is. It's an interesting double-edged sword, but yes, it's a great problem to have. But it also means that you care very much about the organization and who represents it, because it is still a representation of you.
Let's ask you a serious personal question. When you meet men, when you meet guys, are you sure that they are in it for like good, sincere reasons? Because you have a lot of opportunities. Guys want to buy you drinks, they want to hit on you, they want to do whatever.
Yeah.
You want to make sure, hey, you got to read past the fact. Like, does he know I'm Miss America? Does he, could it be like?
Well, I have found in my short dating in New York that it definitely helps if they know that I was Miss America before we go on a date. That's definitely helpful. But I also have found that it takes a certain type of person to not be intimidated by that. And so far, I have not found that. So yes, it's very difficult.
I think what you need is a guy who's already successful and in business and all, and already like very confident about himself, and that maybe he finds it flattering that Miss America is interested in him, but there's so much more to you, and there is.
Yeah.
Like look, that title is going to be with you the rest of your life, but there's a whole lot more there to you.
And I'm lucky. I have very much experienced that. The last long-term relationship that I was in was very much about who I am as a person, and much less
Good.
about being Miss America. And yeah, I mean, who knows? I have so much going on right now. I am so not that concerned with with dating. Well, it gets me in maybe 2 years.
When people ask me about you, because we've been friends for a while now, and I say I want you to take this as a compliment. Now, I thought you looked absolutely stunning in your evening gown the night that you win, and you said I was a gentleman for saying that versus saying like bathing suit or some other area, which was sincere when I said it was sincere when you came back. But here's the thing, and I hope you take this as a compliment. When people ask me about it, I say, she is one of us. You are down to earth. You are one of us. You don't see yourself up here and the rest of us down there. And that's the most rewarding, most beautiful thing that I find about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think if my reputation as Miss America follows me still, it's that was one of my strong suits, I think, is that I think that being Miss America is a really awesome thing, and it is something that we should hold to high esteem. It took a long time to get there, and I'm very proud of that accomplishment. But at the end of the day, for lack of better words, it's a pageant.
Yeah.
So it's a pageant that highlights very extraordinary women, but at the end of the day, it's a pageant. And
a pageant that I need to point out, like the finals night, you swept the board. You won't brag on yourself, but that is in itself. That's like winning the Masters, the British Open, the U.S. Open, the PGA. It's the Grand Slam all in one night there for you.
It's very surreal to think about, for sure. But it was a wonderful experience, and it's been an interesting journey since then, for sure.
Yeah. Look, I have to address the elephant in the room that just happened at the Miss the Universe pageant and all. I feel horrible, for everybody, for Miss Columbia. I do think she will come out of this even better.
Yeah, it's human error is human error, and we all make mistakes. I think that it's really unfortunate. I can't imagine. I think back to the way that I felt when I won Miss America and how in complete and utter shock I was. And it is also very interesting to watch the difference between, I challenge you to go to YouTube, watch the difference between a Miss USA and a Miss Universe crowning moment versus Miss America. There is a level of pure and utter, just absolute disbelief when you watch Miss America be crowned. So I think back to that moment where, the initial photos of me with my mouth just gaping open, and I think, gosh, if that had happened and then they had been like, just kidding, it wasn't you,
and then
that would be just the most heart-wrenching, devastating moment. But the other side of that is that, thank goodness we do live in this social media world where I think that Miss Columbia is going to have so many opportunities to be on television and to talk about the things that she wants to talk about, and she's going to be able to, she's still going to represent Columbia to the to the masses in a huge way. Everyone's going to know who she is. And I think that, she's obviously beautiful. She's going to be able to rack up some endorsements and to potentially be just as just as well known and just as famous as Pia, the current Miss Universe.
And you put something in perspective for me, and before we go to commercial break, I want you to explain it to my viewers. It's easier than we think to mess that up, and a lot of blame's going to go to Steve Harvey, but you summed it up beautifully as far as he's reading the card and it says first.
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of times people who are watching pageants are in some ways pageant fans. So they know that there's a third runner-up, a second runner-up, a first runner-up, and then a winner. But if you're not someone who's hosted, I mean, I've hosted a million pageants. That would not be something that I think that I would mess up. But if Steve Harvey's never hosted a pageant, doesn't have that much experience with pageants, the way that the card, then they took a picture of it, read, it said second with a name, and then it said first with a name, and then the winner was actually like on the other side of the card down at the bottom.
Right.
So it kind of makes sense that if he was holding a microphone and holding the card, and he sees second and first, that he might think that first meant the winner, and that the runner-up was the name that just wasn't there.
That's a great perspective.
So it's possible. I mean, who knows? I also am a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, and there was a lot of time left in that live telecast for them to make a mistake and move on.
Over 3 minutes remain. So conspiracy theorists like yourself.
Having been on a lot of live television, I can tell you that just doesn't happen from the producer's standpoint. So there's a little bit of a part of me that thinks, you know, the Miss Universe organization's been facing a little bit of an issue with Trump.
That mind never stops thinking over there, does it?
They've had such an issue, you know, Trump and the bad press with Miss USA and like everything. So it just makes sense that they want to make sure that everybody knows who Miss Universe is. And I tell you what, everybody does now.
That's not always the case, but this morning,
this morning it is. Everybody knows Miss Philippines is Miss Universe.
That's going to be the case. All right, don't go anywhere. Take a break, and we're going to come back and finish things up with you. How about that?
Sweet.
All right, folks. Like I said, don't go anywhere. We've got more with 2013 Miss America, MalloryHagan, right after this.
So, all set for a fun weekend?
Just gotta record my shows while we're gone.
We good?
Just gotta set the one in the bedroom now.
There is a better way. With Newlink's multi-room DVR, easily record all your favorite shows, then access everything from any TV in your home. Your local connection to the best technology in town. Call or click newlinkdigital.com to learn more.
Welcome back to Talking with Tony. I'm visiting today with the 2013 Miss America, MalloryHagan, and thanks so much once again for coming in. I always enjoy our time together.
Thanks for having me.
Make a promise now that you'll come back and you won't wait 2 years. How about that?
I promise? Question mark. Well, who knows where life will take me?
Well, L.A., New York, and yet you've found your way back here to the studio today, so I'm grateful for that. When you think about former Miss Americas, give me a Miss America in the past that you look up to, that you greatly respect. I don't want to say is your favorite, but who was your favorite?
Oh, goodness. Well, it's interesting because in the last decade or so, I guess all of us are very close. We spend a lot of time together, and we were all Miss America under the same leadership, the same boss, essentially, for the most part, and we had very similar experiences. It's one thing to think about all the former Miss Americas who didn't go through being Miss America in the age of social media or even the internet. So they all have a very different experience. And you know, Miss America was the first reality show. It was the very first competition-based reality show. And so there's that era of Miss Americas who had this extraordinary experience where everyone knew who they were, and they would show up at the airport and people were waiting for them. So the Miss Americas that are right around me, I feel like I'm very close to all of them, and I respect them all greatly. But I would say the one that still gives me butterflies when I hang out with her is Heather French Henry. She was Miss America in the year 2000, and she was formerly Miss Kentucky, and she's back in Kentucky now, and she heads up the veteran affairs for the government there. So she's just a really awesome human being, and she has a great perspective on life, and she's been very helpful in just guiding me through the process and what it means to be done, and she's just super cool. So she's not my favorite, but she's one that I greatly respect.
Politicians are some of the people that aren't your favorite people, and of course, people that watch my show know where I lean. You met someone from the other side.
I did.
The presumptive nominee for the Democrats, Hillary Clinton. Tell me what that experience was like.
You know, it was really wonderful. We talked a lot about, well, I say a lot. We briefly spoke about my business being a young entrepreneur and being a female leader and pursuing my education. It was really interesting. I mean, obviously, you know that any politician, when you meet them, has been briefed, especially if it's in a controlled setting. But it was, you know, no matter what side you're on, it's very impressive the work that politicians do and the amount that they're on the road and how many people that they meet. And, you know, they're always having to think and be on, and they're so, no matter what their stance is, they're all very intelligent people who have worked very hard to be in the position that you're in. And Hillary shook my hand, knew my name, heard you just started a business. How's that going? You're in school. What are you studying? I mean, it was very clear that she had been briefed. And when you have 200 people coming through a door to shake their hand and take their picture, it was really cool. So
what does it remind you of? It sounds like it reminds me of your year as Miss America.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
Every 2 nights you're in a different hotel room in a different city.
Yeah.
And you're being briefed on like...
The difference is that I'm not on a private plane and I don't have someone talking to me in my ear and telling me who's who. But no, I guess it has been... Being Miss America has been equated to being a politician in some ways. They say you're shaking hands and kissing babies, and in a lot of ways you are. And in a lot of ways you're advocating for things that you believe in, and you're doing charitable work, and you're in D.C., and you're lobbying. I mean, there's a whole spectrum of things that you get to do as Miss America that are very politically charged.
And this Miss America is writing now.
Oh, yes, this Miss America. I thought you were talking about Betty. I was like, is she? I'm sure.
You are.
Yeah, I'm very excited. For the longest time, I've loved to write always, and I just never really thought about pursuing any sort of career in that. And I don't know if this is a career, but it is certainly a way to continue to get my name out there. My ultimate goal is to be in your position and doing television, and I think the quickest way to get there is to continue to be what we call now in the business an influencer. And so it's all about putting my name out there in as many ways as possible. So today I submitted my first piece to bustle.com, which is an all-female women's online magazine. So they have an app, which is really cool. And you can sort of aggregate the information that you're most interested in. And I did write 5 surprising truths about being a pageant girl. So hopefully if you read that, you can learn a little bit more about what it means to do that.
That sounds like that was right in your wheelhouse.
It was right in my wheelhouse. And it was interesting. They actually said, they were like, we understand that we want you to write about other things besides pageants, but since Miss Universe is coming up, when you're the expert, would you write about this? And I was like, yes, of course. So ultimately, my goal is to obviously not be writing about pageants, but when it is needed for an expert, I'm always going to be there. And then I also write for sheismore.com, which is actually an online magazine that was started by a former Miss USA. Her name's Kristen Dalton, and it's a very faith-based online magazine, so a lot of things are directed towards how you can do them and still maintain your faith or use your faith to channel certain aspects of your life. So writing for those 2 things, and then I just launched my own personal website. It's MalloryHagan.com, so I write my blog there, and
that's cool.
I have a vlog online, Mondays with Mallory, so tonight I'll be uploading a new one.
Okay. We'll give it a little, I'm tuned into that. I'm going to read that. Appeared on Talking with Tony today. Yeah, I like it. I like it already. Maybe I should write it for you. I kind of did some writing in my own time.
Yeah.
I've got 30 seconds left. A guy that helped you out through the process and recently had his own reality television show.
Yeah.
It's called Coach Charming. And tell us a little bit. I know Blanche Iverson. Tell me a little bit about Dad Bill.
Dad Bill is a hilarious hoot of a human being. He was very helpful in my process to becoming Miss America. He was he was the lawyer for the Miss New York organization, and therefore spent a lot of time working with me and other Miss New Yorks on our interview preparation. And he has a very unique and distinct way of figuring out what makes you unique and helping you pull some really cool things into your interview room. So he was a lot of fun to work with, and he still remains a lot of fun to be friends with. And I look forward to seeing where his show takes him. It's going to be good, I think.
And I look forward to keeping up with you and following the rest of your career. And I am internally grateful for you coming in today.
Thank
and I
you.
always enjoy the time and the visits. And
thanks for having me.
You will come back.
I will come back.
Awesome. Folks, that's all the time we have this week for Talking with Tony, but we'd like to thank Mallory Hagan. She just flew in. She's working on limited sleep, and she really made a sacrifice to come in here and do the show, and I am grateful. That's all the time we have, though. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time on Talking with Tony.